Oh, wow. This is WODE, The Hawk in Allentown. And I think when I lived here, this was WLVR, I think. Anyway, this is a Cumulus station. And we're about to go on the morning show with Rick and Joel. And
I was coming home from a date in the morning. It was an overnight thing,
right.
And someone was putting a sign outside the station when they got rid of the rock. It said albums 25 cents or 10 cents or something,
wow.
Flatbed. And I was the first one to pull in, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. And I still to this day have probably 200 of his records.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's this old sign, like a ZZ Top Worldwide Texas Tour
Right, right.
with like barbed wire around it from their first label.
Uh-huh.
I still have it.
Oh, geez.
And I showed it to Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, but when I worked in Cleveland a couple of decades ago, and he goes, I'll give you a guitar for that right now. I'm like, forget it, I'm keeping that.
Wow.
Should have taken the guitar, you know?
Yeah, really. I wish I'd known about that.
Yeah, I'll come get you a little bit, and
Okay.
I'm just going to get you guys some coffee, right?
Yeah, he's getting coffee.
All right, good. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, Rick.
Be a server or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There you go. Wow. So great. How long is the drive from you?
Well, we actually decided to make a night of it, so we stayed just down the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
We went out and had Mexican food. And
Okay.
made it like a date.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Wow. And it all started because it came up and you said, "You guys have Cheese Whiz?" And I
Yeah,
said,
really, I know.
That's Denny Somach. And then you walked
Amazing.
away.
Amazing.
All right, I'll be back.
Okay.
That's where I started in '76,
Uh-huh.
and with Big Steve Kelly,
Right.
and they did a couple of years there, and then there was no chance for a teen to get into the radio. It was hard, you know.
Hey, I interned at WAEB as a German language
Wow.
for 2 weeks.
It's nutty, man. And so it's changed so much. It's so horrible now.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's all I do, unfortunately, but radio's changed its face.
Yeah, is there more than one station in this building?
There's EEX is down the hallway here,
Right.
and then
Which is sports now.
Fox Spin is right across the hallway.
YY. WWYY. Yeah. And they're building us brand new, beautiful studios, apparently, that aren't going to be done for like
Where?
another year.
Avenue C.
Avenue C in
That is.
Bethlehem. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is
So
when Cumulus acquired us. They're going to put everybody in one building.
Right.
Yeah,
How many stations are they on?
You know, Cat Country, they're in LEV.
it'll be 5
There'll be
altogether.
5 altogether. Yeah.
So
But you know, like Cumulus is 450, you know, worldwide.
Yeah, no, I know. Does Scott Jameson still work here?
No.
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 Are we playing the Billy Joel now, or do you want to tease it
I
and
want
come out
to
of
talk.
spots?
I want to talk to him, and then we're going to play, and we're going to come back and talk to him again.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were going to tease and come out of spots and play it.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
That's why you're the producer, Joel. You know.
Yes.
Only told me 40 seconds left, but that's okay. I'll live.
You're getting rid of that, right?
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Go.
99.9 The Hawk Classic Rock of the 70s, 80s, and more, and Genesis. 8:13 on the Hawk Morning Show. Sunny, 75 for your weather today. I gotta tell you, if you grew up in the valley like I did, and I grew up in the valley, you know, since the I don't want to date myself too much, but I was born in 1960, so I've been here for quite some time. You know my next guest, who is a legend in this market, not only in radio, but he's done everything. He's been involved in television, in Grammys, in recording artists, and bringing some very popular people to town too. Denny Somach, how are you?
I'm good, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Hold on, your mic's not
Oh,
working.
there we go. Can you hear me?
Around, Joel. There you go.
Try it now.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
are.
Beautiful building we work in.
Th-
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we actually bought that mic from WSAN where you
Yeah, that's an original. Yeah,
Yeah, I see all these burn marks on you. You know, I got to tell you, it was great driving. You guys, this is unbelievable. You have it's Sir Paul McCartney Street down there. It was amazing.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
all surrounded by
Yeah.
I remember, I was telling you a little bit earlier before we went on the air, and I remember because growing up here, I used to intern at a radio station that's now Best Buy on MacArthur Road, and you were at SAN back in the day doing
Right.
afternoons, and
Right.
and I was, as a kid, all my neighborhood friends, we were Fullerton, we played right at the field there where
Right,
SAN
right.
studios were, the three
Yeah.
towers were. We used to sit outside those towers in the afternoon and the evening and do things you did in the 70s.
Yeah, okay.
But I also remember I remember you on the air, and I remember all the great things you did, and then your career just took off. You did so much stuff, man.
Just, you know, I was looking for a real job. I wanted to be a stockbroker, and I figured I'd do this in the interim.
Right.
So we were talking earlier. I interned at a radio station, and then joined the college radio station. I went to Moravian
Moravian.
College, and then a guy named Rick Musselman hired me, and of course,
Yeah,
you
I know,
know,
Rick.
Hired both of us,
Yeah,
actually.
that's
Yeah.
right. There you go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and you know, I work with guys like Jerry Dean, and I see Jerry's still out there doing dances and things, which is great. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's the best at that. And yeah, it's just amazing to come back like this is great.
We were talking a little while ago. In fact, Rick Musselman and I were talking a little while ago. A friend of mine from 1977. He's still a friend of mine to this day. But we saw AC/DC at the Roxy in
Right,
Northampton,
yeah.
and he brought me a picture of Bon Scott on top of Angus Young,
Right.
walking down the aisle. And I was at that show. I was in that row of that picture, and we couldn't believe it. I'm like, man, all those shows SAN used to bring.
Unbelievable. I look back on it now, and I'm like blown away.
You know, so my producer Joel, who works at the Allentown Fair, bootlegging with the brass rail. You know, he's there. He goes, I met Denny Somach. I'm like, I know Denny Somach. He's a legend in town. He goes, well, he told me this great thing about Billy Joel, and I'm like, all right, get his ass on the show.
So here you are.
So here I am. Okay,
Yeah.
so the Billy Joel was one of the shows we did at the Roxy.
Right.
It was 1973, and I had seen him at a college broadcasting convention in '71 in New York, and I was absolutely blown away. And when we started doing the Roxy shows, I said to Rick, I said, we got to do this guy. This guy's amazing. And it's got this album out called Cold Spring Harbor. You know, She's Got Away and all of. And I called his agent, a guy named Chip Racklin, and I tried to book Billy, and Chip goes, Billy Joel no one's ever called for this guy. Are you sure? You don't mean Billy Joe Royal, or, you know? I said, no, I'm Billy Joel. I saw him, you know, we've been playing his album. He's a star here. We got to book him. He goes, well, you know, I don't even know where he is. He got really upset because his album didn't do anything, and I heard he moved to California. And I'll tell you what, if I ever hear from him and he's doing stuff, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay, so about 18 months later, September 73, I get a call. Billy's getting ready to put out a new album, Piano Man. I get a call from Chip, and he goes, hey, you still want Billy Joel? I said, yeah, he's a big star here. You know, everybody loves him. We get him. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. He's an opening act on the Doobie Brothers and Beach Boys tour, and he's got one day off, November 25th, and we've been wanting to see if he could headline. So you want him? You got him. I said, great, this is fantastic. He said, okay, so what's the deal? I said, well, he's got to do 2 shows, 500 seats. 2 shows, okay, no problem. And I'm going to pay him $500. He said,
Oh my God.
okay, that's fine. You know, we're not working that night, and that's great. Billy's never headlined. This will be good. Fine, done. However, you got to take this other guy as the opening act. I said, well, who's that? He goes, his name is Henry Gross. I said, what's that going to cost me? He said, $250. I said, okay, great. So for $750, we get Billy Joel and Henry Gross, who later went on to have a hit with Shannon.
Right.
It was in Sha Na Na. actually, and actually played at Woodstock, to be honest with you. Anyway, so I remember the day, like crystal clear. I was at the doing my show at SAN. I think I got off at early, like 5:30, to take to get over to the Roxy.
Right.
And Billy comes in and with his road manager. They're driving in with a station wagon, and the two of them are rolling into the lobby. And I'm looking and I'm waving, and they're looking at me and waving. I said, "Oh, come on, come on!" I brought him in the studio. I said, "Oh, sit down. This will be great. We're going to talk to you. This is fantastic. People love you here. Cold Spring Harbor. This is great. You got a new album. Fantastic." And I just went on and on. We did the interview. I don't have the tape, unfortunately. But we did this interview, and it was great. And right before it ended, his road manager said, "Oh, look, there's a problem at the theater. I got to run. Would you mind driving Billy over to the theater when you're done?"
Come on.
I said, "No problem. No problem." I had my brand new green Dodge Challenger.
Okay. Because you still that car, man.
So I'm driving Billy, and I'm taking him over to the Roxy, and we're going the back way because I know how to get there. We're going through Northampton and all the back streets and with the factories and the Bethlehem Steel and all that stuff we're going by. And the whole time he's going, where are we? And I said, well, this is Allentown, but the theater is really in Northampton. And we're going to be there in a couple minutes. I'm just taking like a shortcut. He goes, oh, wow. He goes, this is the first time I've ever headlined. I hope I do. I said, Billy, they're going to love you. I said, the show's sold out. He goes, sold out? I said, yeah, 2 shows, 500 seats, sold out. They're going to love you. We get to the theater, we walk in the front, and there's a big sign that says, I think Rick had put it together, it says, "Welcome, Piano Man." And Billy goes, wow, no one's ever done a sign for me before. This is amazing. I said, Billy, you're not going to believe it. Look, let me take you backstage, get ready. I got to, the doors are going to open, and I'll let you know, and they're going to love you. It's going to be great. He goes, really? I said, you don't understand. They love you. They know every song. They've been fans. And sure enough, he comes out, I go on stage, I introduce him, place goes nuts, he looks around, starts off with a solo song, and then brings the band out. And do we have something that we can play? I want to hear a little bit.
We have a recording, actually the first live recording of Piano Man.
Yeah, first time he ever did. He does the intro, and I left a little of the song there. But anyway, he's going through it in half, like he does a half hour, because that's all he was used to doing as an opening act. And by the way, he's She's Got Away. He's been getting booed at places, and he's like, he can't believe it. This place is like they know every word, every song, and he almost runs. He does. He says, "Look, I only have a half hour's worth of show. I don't have any more songs unless you want me to start over again." He goes to his manager on stage. This is all on the tape. He goes, "How much time do we have?" He goes, 15 minutes. Okay, well, I guess we can do that. The band's only been together 3 weeks, but any of you know the Cold Spring Harbor album? Of course, the place goes nuts. And he goes, well, I can do She's Got Away, and I can do a couple songs from that. And he does that, and he's still got like 10 minutes to fill, so he starts doing impressions of Elton John and Joe Cocker and, Yellow Brick Road, and the place goes nuts. And he gets a standing ovation and encore, and I go back and I said, Billy, there's people waiting over here. They want your autograph. There's like 30 people waiting in line. And he is like unbelievable. Same thing with the second show. Wow. People waiting, and he just never forgot.
So I want to ask you about the tape. So the tape, you recorded the show.
I recorded the show because I wanted to have a copy for myself. Okay. I had one of those new stereo cassette tape players that you could take out of the car and put it, and I put it in, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to put this right here on the stage, right next to Billy, because I can.
Yeah.
And I did. And then I played the tape on the way home, and I played it the next day at the station. Everybody's going, great, then I threw it in a box, because who's Billy Joel, right? Right. Threw it in a box, and like a year and a half ago, I'm digitizing all my archives, and I find this tape, and it just says BJ at Roxy, and I'm trying to figure out what is this. And I put it on, and there it was. And it was unbelievable. It was just in full stereo, and it's, I guess, just about one of his earliest recordings. But the first time he was playing Piano Man in a headline gig, and you'll hear
at the Roxy in Northampton. And the other thing is, it's hard. I mean, I've been doing this 40 years, so I've lost more crap over the years.
Yeah, we all have.
And we have. And then to find the treasure like that is absolutely amazing.
I was amazed.
So we have a clip of it?
We do. We can play it next.
All right, we're going to play it next for you right here on The Hawk.
Okay. Man, you're good. It's just such an incredible story. And you know, when I heard it on MGK, I thought, how great would it be to do it like right here? You know, this is as local as it gets.
You want to hear my John Belushi story?
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, I got great stories about a lot of people. I remember Belushi, we did the National Lampoon Radio Hour at SAN, which is an old syndicated
Sure, I
show.
remember that.
But the players were Belushi and Gilda Radner and a lot of the people that were on Saturday Night Live, pre-Saturday Night Live.
Right.
So we did the live version, National Lampoon Radio Hour on stage. And I remember I'll tell you this story
yeah.
here. But I mean, we had so many people on their way out Frampton. And I remember we were supposed to do Genesis, and the stage was 5 feet too short, so we couldn't do we didn't do Genesis, and we didn't do Supertramp, but we did everybody else.
Yeah, it was like huge. I remember them.
And then I remember when Fleetwood Mac was playing Muhlenberg, and they didn't sell enough tickets. This was right before Lindsay and Stevie got in.
Okay.
And they had to cancel the show, so we get a call from the band saying they want a place to rehearse. So we said, okay, you can use the Roxy, just because we sat there and watched Fleetwood Mac play for an hour and a half. It was great. I mean, people would do that all the time. They would say, hey, you got a place to rehearse? Yeah, you can use the Roxy. As long as we did Springsteen, only had half a house, both shows.
He told me at the fair that your exact words were, you lost money on Springsteen
6 times.
Yeah.
6 times.
Isn't that amazing?
You know what's amazing is that you paid $500 for Billy Joel back then, and now he costs about $350,000 a night. You know,
And he was glad to get the 500 because
you
no
know-
one had ever headlined him.
See,
He
that's
would have done
so
it.
awesome.
I bet you I could have bargained him down to 2.
Probably easy. That's great. We got about.
I'm trying to think of what else we did. Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
So we have the Piano Man clip. That's the one that we're
Yeah,
gonna use,
you got the intro and you got
Just a little bit.
First
Yep.
a little bit of the
Yep,
songs.
that's
I didn't know
perfect.
if you
Yep.
wanted to-
Yeah, what we'll do is I want to hear the Belushi story, then we'll go into the clip.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll link you from your website, whatever you want to do.
Oh, I forgot about that.
DennySomach.com.
Yeah.
And there's a link to the YouTube.
I'll tell you what I really
where
would like.
this will
I'd
be.
like to know if anybody took pictures of that Billy Joel show because I've been looking for 40 years.
Really?
And I know people took pictures all the time.
Yeah, well,
With
that's
the
why.
Instamatic
bring it
and,
up,
So
why
if
not?
it's okay, I'm going to mention that.
Oh,
Ask
totally.
them to get in
Absolutely.
touch with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then, because I got that ACDC from '77, I thought I'd never see that.
People, and it's one
That was
thing I
17
regret
years
not
ago.
taking pictures. I didn't take any pictures.
And nobody did. It's
I
not.
get there's some pictures I have that other people took.
Yeah.
I got a picture with Genesee, one with Nazareth, one with Sensational Harvey.
I mean, I lost so many over the years of meet and greets and even in stuff that you kick myself in the butt. But you move around, you know what I mean? When you go to city to city, every move I made with Cleveland to Detroit to Columbus,
Yeah,
you know, and then
yeah.
you lose a pile of stuff,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Has all-wheel drive for just $4.99 a month for 36 months. Only at Jaguar Allentown. Online at jaguarallentown.com. 0 Street Advisor Center, L4799, 4995, Sunny Bunker, Red Seal, additional details, 2939.
Teledata internet traffic. We have an accident on 78 in the eastbound direction past Lehigh Street. Traffic backs up to 309. We also have an accident on 22 in the eastbound direction between 191 and Route 33. Backing up traffic to Shanersville Road. Further 22 eastbound picks up from Cedar Crest Boulevard to 145. Pete has delays in the westbound direction from 33 to 412. We also have congestion on 33 southbound from Stockton to 22. There are no accidents on 33, 309, 100, 242, 378 or the Turnpike. The 69 News Traffic Center tip line is 610, 820, 1111. That's the latest from the 69 News Traffic Center.
Joel and I have a guest this morning, the legendary Denny Somach, who got his start here at WSAN way back in the day when AM rock and roll was king, and
That's right.
went to Moravian College. And for some reason was digging through his archives and came across a Billy Joel tape from the Roxy in Northampton.
Yeah, 45 years ago.
And that alone is impressive that it still stood the test of time. We're going to play a clip of that in a minute, but we were talking behind the scenes because you guys did a whole bunch of different things with people like Belushi.
I'll tell you a great story. We used to carry a show called the National Lampoon Radio Hour,
Love that show.
which which was had Belushi and Gilda Radner and Howard Ramis, all the people that used to come from the National Lampoon, and later went on to do all those movies and
Right.
Animal House and all that. But we were doing the live show, and I remember waiting downstairs for the first show, and I'm sitting there with Belushi and Gilda Radin's over here, and I don't remember, who else was exactly standing there, but I remember talking to Belushi because he was a really cool guy, but nobody really knew who he was. I mean, I was a fan because I loved the National Lampoon Radio Hour. And I'm talking to him, and I said, so what are you going to be doing next? And he goes, well, we're trying to break into television. And we were out in California. We had a meeting with Norman Lear. Now, Norman Lear, at the time, was the hottest TV producer in the world. He had All in the Family and the Jeffersons. And
Huge.
He was the guy.
Right.
So he goes, yeah, we had a meeting with Norman Lear, and we were telling him, we were trying to come up with something. He turned and he said to us, you know what, you guys, you're just not ready for prime time.
Oh,
And I remember it to this day. And looking at me. Now the irony is, if you're not old enough to remember, when the Saturday Night Live went on the air, they called the players the not ready for prime time players.
Yes,
that's obviously where it came from.
Oh my God! That's
so
awesome.
he was the coolest. I mean, him and Gilda and everyone. We did the show, and it was amazing.
See, that's
and,
so awesome.
They're bringing it back. I understand the old shows and. Maybe even
that
new
stuff
versions.
was great.
It was classic comedy.
It is really classic comedy, and especially over the radio too. At that time, it was just beautiful stuff. All right, now we got this clip that you found. Well, when did you find this thing?
I found it about a year ago, and it was coming up. It was 45 years ago. It was this past November, and I just couldn't believe it. So I got a call. I played it for some people, and all of a sudden, boom! And I put it on my site. By the way. DennySomach.com is my website, or go to my Facebook page. I do want to ask you one thing. I'm looking for anybody that took pictures of that Billy Joel show, or actually any of the Roxy shows, but I didn't take any pictures. And I know somebody took pictures of the Billy Joel show, and they're in a box somewhere. So least you can do is, I found the tape, you can find the pictures. So, if you find pictures of any of the shows, please get in touch with me. Contact the station here. They'll tell you, but I would love to see some pictures, and particularly of the Billy Joel show.
Yeah, because back in the day, nobody thought to bring a camera. There were no cell phones.
No, we didn't stop. No, everybody had their Brownie or their Instamatic. Yeah. We didn't have restrictions. You could take pictures.
Yeah, and then a lot of those things are gone. People lose them.
Imagine no pictures allowed, or we didn't have that back then.
No,
it was we didn't have people doing lighters though either. But so many amazing shows. Peter Frampton. Just on and on and on.
Yeah, it was quite.
Rush, Status Quo, Roxy Music, just amazing.
Like I said, and I saw AC/DC too. The Roxy was the place, man. So this is from the Roxy Theater
this is from
in
the Roxy.
Northampton. Billy Joel. It almost makes you want to tear up.
Oh,
it's,
man.
it's just the hair on the back of my neck
Yeah,
stands
me
up
too.
every time I hear that.
And you
'cause
were there,
I
right?
can visualize it,
Oh.
and the place they just loved him, and he just didn't have any more.
So
time.
that is, honest to God, the very first live recording of Piano Man. And think how
Yeah.
many there are now.
I
you
know, and here's the other thing: the quality of that recording.
Yeah, well, that theater, as you know, if you've been there, is acoustically perfect. So
Yeah.
it sounded great, and he was so excited, and he was doing the song and telling the story.
Please tell me you're going to make this available to the public at some point.
It's not up to me. I mean, actually, I was trying to figure out how to get it to somebody because they could probably do something with it.
I
put it up.
mean, you should totally, reap the benefits of having this gem. I swear, man. This is,
Yeah, well, I
this is a
had thought for a
diamond.
long time maybe I would do something at a restaurant or something and play the whole thing in front of people. Invite everyone who was at the show.
Right.
There were 1,100 people. There must be a few hundred still living in the area. We'll get together, ODE night at the such and such,
There
and
you
play the
go.
whole thing.
I like that.
Tell
Me
stories.
too, yeah.
People can meet up. Maybe I'll finally get my pictures in.
Yeah, if you do have pictures, please contact us and we'll get with Denny. DennySomach.com is his web address if you want to get. You have a Facebook page too, my
Yeah,
brother, right?
yeah.
It's been an honor talking to you, my man.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really was glad I ran into Joel at the fair.
It's all because of those cheese fries, man.
Well, no, my producer's a stalker.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
I had to
Yeah.
come back to go to the fair and run into your producer, and it was amazing. Just I'm glad you asked me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Not a problem. It's great having you, my brother. Have a wonderful day, all right?
Okay, you too, Rick.
Perfect.
Ah,
Oh, man, that's
Great,
awesome.
thank you.
That is freaking awesome, man. Denny, I love you, buddy.
Wow.
It's been
anytime.
an honor to meet you, my friend.
Need me to fill in sometime? Let me know.
Oh, yeah, really.
Come on. I'll take the day off in a minute.